Welcome back, everyone. So today we're going to pick up where we left off last time. It's already 7:40, so I'll probably work for a couple hours, and same throughout the rest of the week, really. Planning on a couple of videos a week, maybe. So we'll run like a video that goes from Monday to Friday, all the content from there, and then on the weekend, just because I won't be working on the car for that long during the week, because I finish work pretty late. So yeah. Anyway. This is where we finished off. Managed to get the front bar off completely, so we'll continue trying to get this radiator out tonight, and also the pop-up lights. So we've got a fair bit to do, and we'll get cracking. Yeah, so scrap that whole 2 videos a week thing. I just don't have enough time, and rather focus on 1 video a week that's sort of good quality content. So we'll focus on that instead, and make sure those videos are good. As you can see here, I just started taking off the headlight system off the pop-up headlight contraption, if that's what you want to call it. But yeah, it was pretty straightforward, didn't take too long, and it was pretty easy. So we got that out and cracked on. Okay, so we managed to get the lights out. We just got to get the rest of the assembly out. It looked like someone's obviously changed the harness or something. It's all bodged up. Here there's a lot of electrical tape covering this part. I think because the previous owner had LEDs where the stock 944 just had bulbs, so there's a different plug, but I don't think that looks standard, so we're going to have to chase that. So it looks like they've just changed to like a LED or something, I'm not quite sure, so we're going to have to sort that out. But we're going to get this whole pop-up headlight system out of the car before we can even look at the radiator, just to make life a bit easier. So get cracking on that. Looks like here, just under this sort of shroud for the radiator, there's a bracket. You can't quite, I don't know if you can see it there, you can't quite gain access to get that last bolt undone. So it looks like we're going to have to take the radiator out first. And then attack the rest of the headlights, which is a bit unfortunate because I was hoping to get those out today, but looks like we're getting the radiator and the headlights out, so we'll get that out. This bracket first, I don't know if you can see it, that's a bit better. So we're going to get that bracket out first before we can attack the headlights. So we'll do that now. Okay, the fan shroud's out, so we've got that out. The radiator should just drop out now since there's a bit more clearance, so should be able to just to pull the rad out, drop that. Then we can attack the pop-up lights, and then start taking the little stuff off the front, such as the little brackets, the little wiring looms, get it all out the way. So when we get that transmission jack, it's pretty easy just to get the engine out. So crack on, get the rad out, and then get these bad boys out as well. So yeah, just pulled the radiator out pretty much, made heaps more room for the pop-up lights to come out. Really easy to sort of take all the bracketry off that was hard to get to with the radiator in, so I'm glad I did that, and also just makes it easier for when I take the engine out further down the line. Other than that, it was super easy. It was like 6 bolts and 1 in each quarter panel, and then the whole system just sort of came out, so that was good. I thought it was going to be much more complicated than that, but it wasn't, so pretty thankful. Okay, the pop-ups, they're finally out after that. There was a lengthy task. We had to get the radiator out first, but it's out. The whole system's out of the front. We'll crack on, get rid of all this wiring from the front end. We'll get rid of that, take all the cable ties off, pull it all back so there's more room. I'll crack on and take the brake booster out as well. But I think that's pretty much it. Just little stuff, so there's a lot of clearance when we take the motor out, when we get that transmission jack. So we have this annoying plastic thing off that was covering where the front of the wiring harness sits. There's a couple more clips that I've got to break because there's no way I'm going to take them off nicely. And then we can get that front wiring harness out for the headlights and the indicators. And then that's probably going to finish me up for today. It's Monday, it's already 9 o'clock, and yeah, by the time I finish that, it'll be 9 o'clock, and then I'll sort of call it quits for day 1. It's the next day. We're going to crack on again, pick up where we left off. So just for a recap, the radiator's out, the whole front loom for the headlights and stuff's out now, also the pop-up lights. So we're going to crack on with the ABS now, lift the car up, and then start attacking the corners and get those out of the way. So far so good. We haven't really found any big problems with the car just yet, so that's awesome. I can't wait to get this engine out. That was a bit silly from me. I've completely forgot brake boosters mounted from the inside to the outside of the car, so I can't actually access the brake booster until we rip apart the interior. So I'll keep cracking on with all the wiring and taking as much as I can off the front, and then I'm going to just start taking the front end off, like the steering rack and the lower control arms and such. So basically I just started ripping apart everything on the right corner. Oh, by the way, sorry for the camera, it's not focusing for some reason, but I'll get that sorted for the next one. But yeah, so I just started ripping apart everything off that front right corner, took the caliper off. For some reason it was stuck, but other than that, everything else was pretty easy to get off, pretty straightforward, so that was really good to see. Nothing was super rusted, which was amazing. Yeah, here you can see me with filthy hands undoing the sway bar. Heaps of WD-40 was used in the making of this video, that's for sure. But yeah, it works. Then I sort of cracked on, lowered the car a bit so I could get to the top of the shocks, loosen that off, and then sort of take the whole front corner out, which was good. So basically, we've got the shock out now, sway bar's undone. Only thing left is to get this knuckle off the lower control arm, but there's like a weird, I don't know, weird sort of bolt that's holding this this bushing on to the knuckle. So I don't know if you've got to hit it out or anything, but we're gonna have to try bring the rubber mallet out to knock it upwards. But this bushing looks pretty much toast, so if we mess it up, I don't think it's going to change anything. Actually, what I've done is I've jammed a screwdriver where that sort of slip joint is there, just to open up the clamping force, and it's literally just going to pop out now. So I'm just going to whack it with the hammer and it should pop right off. Awesome progress. So we have this whole corner out. The lower control arm came out pretty easy with a bit of WD-40 and a rubber mallet. Standard operation here, to be honest. So just going to crack on with the other side, then we can drop the steering rack and the sway bar, and that's pretty much it for the front end until the engine comes out. So we're doing really well. There's a lot has been done in the last couple of hours, so we'll finish that other side. Okay, we have that left corner out. That's all done. So the whole front, no focus. So the whole front end of the car's pretty much out besides the engine. So can't really do much more at the front, so we'll crack on and start getting the rear end out, get the axles out, brakes, all that sort of stuff. Get as much of the suspension as we possibly can out as well, so just makes it easier further down the track when we can get the engine out. We're getting the transmission jack tomorrow, so it's Saturday today, we should be getting it tomorrow, so hopefully we can crack into the engine tomorrow. So just make it as easy as possible if we had the whole rear end out as well, so I'll get that done today. So Dad had a really good idea and sort of suggested that we take the engine out and down instead of out and up, which sort of eliminates that issue with the solid drivetrain and having to take that out before we can take the engine out. So here you see us just sort of undoing the little ones, the little 1%ers. So started taking the steering rack out, sway bar out, and started unplugging alternators and sort of that sort of stuff. So the engine sort of could come out and down from the car, which was not part of the original plan, but it made out to be a good one. Okay, so we managed to get the steering rack out, then we took the alternator cabling off, then also the drivetrain. It's all loose now from the engine, so I think we're ready to take the engine out. We should have done it earlier, but at least now it's going to be a lot easier because the whole front end's out. So we'll get that prepped, get the hoist ready, and start trying to get the engine out. So after all that, all the fuss about not being able to get the engine out until the drivetrain comes out, we worked around the issue. We pulled the engine out from below, which was really easy. As you can see there, I put some of my scooter tyres down underneath there so it didn't damage the floor. But yeah, I'm not too happy about that. They were my race tyres to and from work back in Brisbane. No, brand new. Tyre treated, of course. I need all that extra speed I can get. But yeah, so super easy. Got the engine out, dropped it on the ground, then sort of lifted the car out, and yeah. I've got the clutch. Clutch is off. Look, I'm going to be honest. The flywheel's definitely seen some better days. Old mate's definitely done some skids in this thing. Look at all the heat spots.
Who was the last driver in it?
Nah, not me, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. But the actual the clutch plate looks good. There's heaps of meat still left on the actual plate itself, which is really surprising. But that flywheel definitely looks secondhand. Not meant to look like that with all those little spots and such on there. So I think we're going to try and get the engine on the stand now. Is that right?
Yep.
So we'll try and get the engine on the stand and call it a night. It's getting a bit late. So it's now Sunday. The engine's completely out of the car. So have a look at it now. It's no longer in there, which is awesome. There's the drive shaft down in there. That was a pain. We had to actually take the engine out from the underneath. We couldn't sort of lift it up. Just because the drive shaft was still in the way, but went to some shops today. We got our transmission jack, so that's it there. So we should be able to get the transmission out and the drivetrain out a lot easier now. So this is the engine here. We couldn't exactly put it on the engine stand. We've got to get some longer bolts, and Loki wants to say hi. Loki. So this is Loki. And Kilo, where are you? Kilo, come here. What's he doing? This is the first time they've been here. Oh, here he is. Say hi. You alright? He's very excited. But yeah, so with the engine out now, we can really press on and start stripping the car completely. Just now, there's so much more room for activities really in the front. So yeah, give you a quick walk around of the engine. The headers are like completely rusted, so I think I'm going to remake some. Looks like we need to do the rear main seal, and I was also going to do all the other gaskets on the motor. But there's some little stuff like here that's all rusted, so I might make some new ones out of aluminium. But yeah, the engine doesn't look too bad. I don't think it had that many Ks on it. Maybe like I think it's like 100,000 miles. So whatever that equates to, which is not too bad for considering how much I paid for the car and all that. But yeah, the car's ready to start getting the full strip now. The engine's out finally, which took forever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Leaves us today with not a lot to do. I'll probably call it quits for this week's video. So we'll press on next week, start stripping the rear end, because we've got some more tools actually. We had to go get one of these bad boys to get the axles off, so we'll press on with that later in the week. Thanks everyone. Also forgot to mention, we do have a light now. Sorry, the lighting was real bad underneath the car. If this will focus, thanks. We've got a light to shine underneath the car when we're working on underneath it. I didn't have one at the time for that first sort of video, but we do have one now, so the lighting should be better for the third video. So yeah, thanks for all the positive comments and all the messages. I really appreciate it. If you have any ideas or anything for the future, let me know. I'm more than happy to take those on board. So yeah.